Hi, someone comes over here. Actually, hey,
we want to welcome all of you to our dinner this evening. A few things before we actually get to taste and enjoy this fine food is that keep in mind that over here to my right, or over here on the back behind you, we have 3 soups: seafood bisque, beef and barley, and chicken noodle. And then you'll find a few other fixings over on the left. Over here on my left here is the drinks, which they have sweet tea, unsweetened tea, water, coffee, apple cider, and hot chocolate. Okay. So, well, here's how we're going to do that. After we have our prayer, we're going to ask that the pioneers, because this is an appreciation for the Colonial congregation for our pioneers, that they go first. And then after the pioneers, we're going to ask some of our older ones then to go. And then, not you, David, you're not ready. And then we're going to have our young ones at the end. Okay. So that's how we're going to do it, if you will. But before we have our prayer, we do want to thank all those that had their hand in preparing this food. We certainly appreciate their fine work and their efforts. Don't you agree? And if you like the beach theme, we'll do that again. Nice. Okay. So, but we do thank them, and what we really want to do is show an appreciation and thank all of our pioneers for their hard work this past year. Looking forward to many more years as long as this old system lasts and serving Jehovah. And they've done such an excellent job this year. And with 15, you know what that means, friends? We got room for more. So we have 5 regular auxiliaries as well. So we certainly appreciate them. So now what we're going to do to get started, we're going to ask, one other thing. Be thinking while you're eating. We've heard some nice experiences in the field recently. So if you'd like to relate one, we're going to eat dinner first. I'll give you time to think about it, mull it over. But if you'd like to relate an experience after dinner, we're going to let you to do that, okay, before we cut our cake. So just think that through, and then we'll be able to hear some fine experiences. Now we'll ask Brother David Harkis, if he will, to give a prayer before we have our dinner.
I did the commercial with him.
Alright, what do I do now?
Caleb, get in front of him.
Take your picture. Get over here, Caleb.
Okay.
Alright, Caleb, let me ask you a question. What's better, fast or slow? Name something fast.
Caleb, let me ask you a question. What's better? What's better? Big or small?
Yes. I can give us some experiences. You gotta get it up, man. Come on, dude. You gotta get it up. Yeah, he's working pretty good. I got a tip for you. Plant your corn by February 1st.
I just don't want to get everybody's attention. Excuse me.
Smile.
I'm volunteering to get really embarrassed and put face first. And just fumble through, and then you guys won't feel bad if you do it too. So I just know that there's been a lot of good experiences in the ministry recently. I've been hearing around. I heard that the young ones on Sunday were doing some witnessing in the cemetery. Kira was telling me about, and they said it was the best day ever in service. And they really enjoyed themselves. And I wish that Kira was here. She's not feeling well, so maybe one of the others in the group could share that with us. Also, I know Tim and David had a few people sitting with them at the Kingdom Hall, and you know, along with Kim's study, there was a couple others, so not everybody might know who they are, so maybe she wouldn't mind sharing that with us. And, you know, I know some others have. My mom has a study with 2 very adorable Chinese kids, and maybe she could share that. And I heard Lula has a nice experience. Lula, Wanda says you have a nice experience. So, okay. All right, so just to give you a minute to think about those, it doesn't have to be a Bible study. It can be any avenue of service whatsoever. Yes, Alice, this one too. Okay, so I'm just going to tell a little one first and then hand the microphone to the next person that will help out here. But it's very encouraging. It's exciting when we you know, see Jehovah using us, and so when we share that with others, it kind of rubs off. That joy kind of rubs off. So I love to hear other people's experiences, so I hope you share that. Okay, I've been going out to Richmond for vitamin C IVs, and when I go, it's like 2 or 3 hours that I'm sitting there. So I bring my magazines, I bring my Bible, and I was been praying to Jehovah for courage, because sometimes I don't always have the boldness to speak up and say something. So, anyway, what happened the one time is, okay, this is the part where now I'm going to get red-faced. We're going to talk about other people I'm sorry, but okay. This one older gentleman was there, and we were talking about health-related stuff, and then he says, well, what's that big book you have next to you? And I said, well, that's my Bible. And I said, I brought it in with good intentions, but, you know, then I talk too much and, you know, don't get done what I should be. And he said, oh, well, I just started reading my Bible, and I'm in Genesis. And he said, I have a question for you. He said, where did Cain's wife come from? And I almost finished the sentence for him, right? So I get out the Bible and I flip to it and I read it to him right there, that Adam, you know, had other sons and daughters. So Cain wouldn't have a sister. You guys know all that. But anyway, he says, you're the first person that was ever able to answer that for me. And then, so then he was asking, because it says how long Adam lived, and, you know, that people used to live so long, so many years, and wanted to know, you know, why that would be. So we talked a little bit about imperfection and what's happened to us. And so then he said, well, you know, my friends, some of my friends think the Bible is just myths, it's just stories, and it didn't really happen. And so then I said, well, for different people, it's different things that convince them that it's really God's Word. And so I mentioned a few or whatever, but then I said how prophecies were a big thing for me. I gave him a couple examples of prophecies and how they really, you can check the history books and see that it really happened. And so we talked about that, and he said, well, what does the Bible say is going to happen next? What are we looking for now to happen? So went to Matthew chapter 24, and we did 2 Timothy 3, 1-5. And certain things, because he wasn't fully convinced we're living in the last days. So, you know, so we talked about the natural disasters going on and how people are sick, even young ones are sick, and we talked about morals. And then one of the other gentlemen, I didn't tell you this part, is that it's a room, and there's other people in there getting their IVs too, and they can't really get up and leave anywhere, so they had to listen to him. So there's 5 people listening to me, and this gentleman sitting in there, and then there's a nurse, and she comes in. She's cute. She's from Poland with this cute accent, but she's in and out all the time, checking in on us. So they all got to hear it, and so this other gentleman, younger gentleman, kind of chimed in when we were talking about, he said, you know, you could leave your keys in the car and didn't have to worry about it and that kind of thing. But let's see, I don't know, but I'm going to say it was a good hour and it was so much fun. Yeah. So at the end, Stephen, I think there was a bunch more, but...
And I have to follow that. Actually, I had a similar experience with one when she went to the hospital. You all remember that, the lady I talked to. But I'm going to tell you about something else, since we've already been in the hospital today. But my chiropractor, I see him at least once a month. for adjustment. And I've been taking him to magazines, which he says he enjoys reading very much. But I noticed that they had a boombox CD player there in the office. So he talks about his music all the time. He plays in a band, he sings. And so I decided to bring our CD with the voices on it. And it had one particular song I wanted him to hear, because he had said that he sings in his church, but he can't get any of the other men to sing. And so I played that song. It's all male voices. I'm sitting here trying to think of which one it is.
If you want.
But he was very impressed, and especially when I said, now those voices are all Jehovah's Witnesses, and the orchestra behind playing, they're all Jehovah's Witnesses. And he said, well, that's amazing. And I said, well, we have a songbook, and we have some beautiful songs. And so he was just happy to hear that. And then I'm trying to remember which elder came to my house with the circulars there. I can't remember. It was you, yeah. I told you about that experience. Okay. And he liked that experience, didn't he? He said that was a new way, an interesting way to share the truth. So that's my experience.
I'm going to let David tell the wife about sharing, because he really likes somebody's punch.
So I'm going to do my wife's. I'm going to stand up because I want to be seen. And I'm going to sing a little bit after this too. So in the back row, you got Kim and you got Sherry. So Sherry, Kim's been studying for a while, so we'll call Sherry Kim's person of interest. The person sitting beside Sherry is Dorothy. Dorothy is Kim's person of interest. So Sherry has somebody that she witnessed to, and now Dorothy is coming with Sherry. So Kim has her person of interest. Her person of interest has her person of interest. And then a couple of weeks ago, Dorothy met Angela walking her dog and let her know that they were going to the Kingdom Hall and invited her to come as well. So now Kim's person of interest is sitting by her person of interest, sitting by her new person of interest. So 3 generations of people of interest there. And that just, I think it just shows that you never know where it's going to go. You have one person you're studying with, but they're learning the truth and they're excited. They talk to others. So those are the 3 ladies that come in and sit in the back row. Sherry, who will be dedicated and baptized soon. So we're working towards that. Well, I say we because 2 become 1. Kim is working towards that. And then you've got Dorothy, and then you've got Angela. So you never know how things will grow if you continue to talk to others.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that sometimes we think that everybody knows, has seen the Watchtower Way, heard of Jehovah's Witnesses. But we did, back in September, a group of us went and visited a lot of the schools. Many of the ones that here joined in on it. And I'd say probably 80% of the people that we placed literature with that special article for educators, have never seen the Watchtower Way, which I think is interesting. You ask you tell them that you want to hand them some literature dealing with something that's pertinent to them, because they put it in the teacher's language. So we followed up with a couple of them this week, and was really nice to reconnect with some of the school secretaries, and again, we met some different people on one of the schools, and in one of the schools, and that person had never seen a Watchtower Way before. So I think we just assume that people know who we are, but there's always interest that can be cultivated in a different way. But these people have never apparently talked to witnesses before because they're working, and so they're not at home while we're going to the doors.